Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always excited to introduce the rank 1 Terran and possibly the best player in the world right now, Team Liquid's Clem. But he's up against the player he beat in the last Premier Tournament Finals, a player known for vengeance, and, you know, having something up their sleeve. The final boss, it's Dark. Yes, a best of 3, TVZ, but very rare to say this, but Dark feeling like the underdog here. As right now, Clem looks pretty much untouchable in Terran versus Zerg. He'll lose a game or two, but a series, it's been a while. So, first Reaper coming in. Almost untouchable. So, if you want Clem to prove his dominance, or you want Dark to have the taste of revenge, well, either way, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we... Revenge doesn't cost extra. 1,241 likes. Yes, we've upped it even more. And if we get 1,241 likes on this cast, on this series, then I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I would do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's Dark versus Clem. But hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As almost every single time, both these players are highlight players. Clem, because he takes Terran to limits that theoretically we knew were possible, but almost no one has practically been able to execute. Between the target fire on the Marines, the late game control, just the base setup that allows him to defend with minimal units, and everything in between. And then Dark being Dark. With whatever that entails, which seems to change on a daily basis, yet remains so consistent. I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounded profound, much like Dark strategies. I'm not convinced he has a build order mapped out, but he has like a build, he has like a magic 8-ball. Or it's like a broth. You just put some things in the stew and then you ladle it out and you see what you get. Oh, it's a Dinosaur again. How crazy is that? 8 roaches on the way. The exploratory sloaches here that are just for making the Hellions uncomfortable. Maybe sneaking him by if your opponent isn't going Banshee. Like if Clem was going straight for a Viking or even some sort of silly medevac play. I say silly because they almost never worked, but silly like Hellbat play, it might work out. But the Roach is actually trying to sneak out, and Clem not going to let that happen. All right. Clem on the beat here. Keeping track of everything. He knows the threats. Did he see the Roach Horn? He didn't, but he's just so active with his units that almost nothing gets by him, especially not slow roaches. Going Cloak Banshee, the bread and buttered biscuit of early game Terran versus... He knows Dark. Banshees are low risk to pretty high reward. Rarely are they going to win or dictate the pace of the game themselves, but Clem seems to keep those Banshees alive just an uncomfortable amount of time. Uncomfortable for the Zerg, of course. You'll see sometimes later in the game a Banshee with 38 kills just hanging out near the third, maybe coming in and hitting one of the outlying bases. And here we go, Cloak. Queens, uncomfortable, just... Oh, he wasn't looking. If Dark had timed that perfectly, it was damn close, but... Banshee's coming in. Hellions are slipping around the north side. Not going straight up the middle. Gonna start racking up the kills. He's actually in detection range. Takes a lot of damage on a Banshee, but here come the Hellions. And Dark, couple Ravagers, some Roaches. Already the roast begins. The Banshees are getting chased down. 13 drones! And even the drones themselves. Citizens arrest. 16 drones down. Dark plummets to a 7-drone lead. And he's expanding on it. So, yes, it hurts, but it hurts... It's not something you can't recover from. This is, at this time in the game, once you have over 50 drones and you're going on 4 bases, including a gold, this is... it's damage. It was worth it, but it's not going to change the game plan of either side. Now, this is awkward. Oh, spots the Banshee. Gonna take down the little rocks in between here. And Clem loads up the Marines. He's got Stim. Does he have Combat Shield? No. Does he have Combat Shield researching?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
That's just a mistake. And it could be an important one. As Combat Shield, there's absolutely no reason not to have it. He has the money. It's something you usually queue up after Stim. It's so important. That 10 HP is better than all the armor upgrades combined for the most part. So, Clem definitely should have it on the way, but 16 Marines and 2 medevacs are always a danger to pretty much anyone at any time. Including Clem, if they turned against him, I guess, is where we're going with it. But here, 2 more medevacs, another not quite 16 Marines, and there's the Combat Shield started. But that will lessen the timing, that, or at least make it harder for Clem to really trade with the Roaches early on. Even though he has 1-1, he's going to have a little bit of an upgrade. Oh my god, Dark. Dark has a Hive and Zergling speed on the way. Typical. Marines will stim up. The Roaches are holding the line. +1 Carapace. I think Clem was really trying to use that upgrade advantage, but didn't really find a great trade there. How did it go? 10 Marines for 4 Roaches and a Ravager? Dark can rebuild those pretty easily. So awkward seeing Zerglings without speed. It seems just wrong. But he finally does finish up that speed upgrade. Them holding on to the center. Alright, casually glides out of the corrosive biles. Makes things very stressful for the rest of us. The triple medevac drop headed in. There's not enough Zerglings here. He can actually use the spawning pool against him. A Spore Crawler just barely in place. The Queen's not focusing on the medevacs, but the Zerglings, more than high enough number. Wait. Medevac gets away just barely. Tank push starting. Combat Shield not even done yet, and Dark gonna take advantage. Combat Shield finally done, with 2-2 almost a third of the way there. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Ultralisk Cavern at 9 minutes here. Not the earliest I've seen, but definitely on the earlier side of things. Watch out! Oh my... The corrosive biles land and knock out the medevacs. Clem feels like he's just about a half step behind so far in this game, as he's really struggling to capitalize on any sort of position. But he does have that center of the map where the tanks are all lined up behind. The choke point is, well, you're not going through there as Dark unless you've cleared out everything around. And now a whole bunch of tanks. He doesn't have +1 mech weapons. So many Zerglings. Corrosive biles actually landing across the medevacs and tanks alike. So a good set of biles there, but Clem's supply seems to keep going up. The tank line, a very literal thing at this stage. A single Viper. Parasitic Bomb could be helpful, but Blinding Cloud he disables 4 out of 5. They can't see shit. Oh my god, the tanks just get wiped from the field. And somehow Clem has a supply lead. I'm not even sure how that happened. He lost, oh well. 129 Zerglings. Dark killed 19 Marines and 7 tanks. Clem killed 9 Marines with those tanks. So maybe they deserved it, but... The blinding cloud across the tanks. I think Clem not quite expecting the Vipers that early on, but he already has ghosts on the way. Dark, unable to capitalize, though, as that position in the center of the map, you really have to wipe them completely out. The choke point is asphyxiating there. And now Widow Mines? Oh my god. Dark floating away with Overlords. Meanwhile, Parasitic Bomb. No, wait. Just Blinding Cloud. Viper! Taken out by a mine. Blinding Clouds will be exhausted. And again, Dark with a kind of a half-hearted fight there. Clem ends up taking out the first Ultralisk, a Viper, a bunch of Banes and Zerglings, and only trades out Biofor. I think 1 Siege Tank. Chitinous Plating is done. Marines will easily be chopped up by the Ultra, but the Bio is still kind of exerting itself out on the field. Clem using... He doesn't have Drilling Claws, so he's not able to dodge Corrosive Bio. Oh my god, I lied. Oh no! He's dodging corrosive vials with the medevac because he doesn't have drilling claws yet. He still missed that Widow Mine. Oh my. Just had to prove me wrong that exact moment, but both players are maxed out. These two will go back and forth for over half an hour. I've seen it before, specifically on this map. I'm sure we'll see it again. Is this the time? As ever since those first Hellions came in and the Banshees, there hasn't been really any opportunity to do economic damage. Clem holds the center. Dark is able to chew up any sort of push that comes nearby his bases, but he's not able to counterattack. He hasn't gotten a single SCV kill this entire game. He hasn't killed any in fact, he hasn't killed any buildings. So no SCVs, no buildings, that tells a story. Also, just looking at the screen tells a story as well. Look how many bases Clem already has. Yes, the corrosive vials will land. They don't even kill the tank at the center. Clem just holding it down. King of the hill. Or at least the watchtower. Snipes. Oh, pops the Ultra at the edge of the range. And Dark. Left, right, and center. Getting pushed back. The very first Zergling to cross the halfway mark meaningfully. I think maybe ever this game. Alright, clears up the center line. But the Ultras have to run from the bile. Which, with its drugs, runs quite fast. Advanced ballistics on the way for Liberators. He hasn't even built any Liberators yet, but +1 mech weapons and plating. No ship weapons for the Liberators, but they still one-shot drones, so... The ghost count growing dramatically, and Clem seems to be slipping into this late-game Zerg. Or, late-game Terran, rather. That is so hard to beat. Especially if you haven't gotten a leg up on it. And right now, Dark hasn't even gotten a toe. But maybe I can check out for OnlyFans and find... Yeah, the Bio's still fighting in the center, but this is Clem essentially drawing attention. Trying to anchor as many of those units as possible while he builds up the Death Ball. Not really Death Ball, but I guess... sandbags the Zerg to the point. Not even the Baneling. The Ultra is blocking the Banes. He's gonna cancel one command center, but already sieging up the Ultra. Choose through. Gonna get sniped out. Dark hitting 2 more bases at once. Widow Mines. Ghosts. Doesn't kill the planetary. Doesn't get the orbital. Corrosive bile is not enough. Clem is holding across the board. Oh no. That was a costly fight for Dark. Clem kills 1,000 more gas there, and 2,000 more minerals. Clem actually managed to kill 2 of his own medevacs to just 1 from Dark. Caduceus reactor on the way, +2 plating, 6 liberators. Oh my. Liberation is at hand. Aspire is on the way. But the anti-air is quick. 6 liberators just popping out of effectively nowhere. He's seen 2 or 3 on the field, but Clem is tech switching like a Zerg right now. Just adding in these late game units while Dark just tries to overrun the field. Trying to use the Widow Mines against Clem. That's his best bet at this stage. Really struggling otherwise. Corrosive Vials just snipes whatever he can get a hold of. Building armor is done. Dark. He hasn't lost too much more yet, but he has no infestors. He has no Vipers. He's still just making these conventional Zerg units. Ultras, Lings, Banes, those are known quantities. Quantities that Clem has measured and knows how to deal with. The Liberators will siege up another base. The Liberator's an overlapping Venn diagram of freedom. Not quite enough to save the base, but retreating. The Snipe's trying to turn it around. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Those Ultras might be able to get away. Clem's still fighting in the center of the map here. Dark. I don't know where it gets easier. He killed 19 SCVs, but that just means Clem's army supply is massive now. We've seen this game before, I feel. And this is a particularly decisive one. Clem has not suffered really significant losses on any front. Dark does not have it. There's the infestors. But Dark now has to scramble. Liberators are locking out several bases. All you have to do is cover 1 or 2 mineral patches, and the entire base is a liability. So a single unit can just lock down that whole base. Which is quite a difficult scenario, especially considering you require air units to deal with it. Second Liberator, making sure he's got it covered. Is there Neural Parasite? No, he didn't get it. And now, Zerglings. Well, numbers. That's going to be the counter, at least the attempt. But the Ghosts, the Liberators, the Widow Mines, a few Zerglings get into the mineral line. But the Liberators will eventually pick them apart. Speaking of, finally some Corruptors on the way. Liberators literally covering each other here. Looking each direction. The infestors out on the field, far past wherever you'd be scanning normally. The Spire in a bit of a precarious position for Dark. The Liberator, he's got 15 Liberators! This is truly, like, Clem has not only embraced the late game. Some might say, whoa, calm down over there, don't crush his... Right now, Clem is crushing the late game's ribs. It's locked it up in a box, so that way it can bring it out whenever he wants it, which some might say is inhumane, but others might say is just Terran in a nutshell. But Clem has gone from one of the most, like, aggressive early big game Terrans to the absolute master of the late game. No one's able to keep track of units on so many fronts. Whereas Clem over here pushing 500 actions per minute, competitive with Dark for 8 PM. And Dark is spamming Ultraling Bane. I don't, like... The infestors are somewhere. There's still 3 on the field. They're scattered throughout. I don't know if the money fungal is going to be the difference maker here. As Clem has multi-layered defense. He has Widow Mines just kind of scattered throughout like true mines. Just waiting for his moment. The infestors. Now's the time. There's the fungal. Pops out another one. He hits the EMPs. The ghosts will get picked up. And there's nothing to hold the medevacs in place. So even though Dark got the fungals, at the end of the day, well, that's a lot of Ultraling Bane. The snipes are lining up. The Liberators are sieging. The Ultra's at the natural. Dark is breaking through, but he's actually supply blocked. He lost so many Overseers in this fight. He can't rebuild very realistically. But the Liberators are covering here. There's no fungals to hold him down. And the Ghosts are starting to clean things up. More Liberators. Lines up the snipes onto the Corruptors to cover the Liberators. The Liberators covering the Ghosts on the ground, and Dark just taps it out as Clem on cleanup duty there killed almost twice as many minerals and a little bit more gas. 190 Zerglings in those last engagements. Ultras, 10 Marines, 5 Liberators. The cost efficiency just unrivaled. It's tough to watch those games on Dark's side of things. He didn't try, really, the Infestors, the Ultras. There was never a point where Vipers and Infestors were combined, but God, Clem. He's playing he's playing Theory Crafter Terran. The Terran that, for better or worse, players have said, is the late game. The Ghost Liberator with Widow Mines and Planetaries and just multi-layered defense. He just does it better. The reason that hasn't been the staple is because no Terran players have been strong enough or had the multitasking to survive realistically against players like Dark and Cyril. But Clem not only survives, but thrives. And that's 1-0 so far. And this map, I don't think is much easier in the late game. It's much larger. So Clem can't really abuse those choke points. But so far, the trend continues of Clem outlasting Dark, which is... It's a recent thing. As Dark, for several years, has been the late game Zerg. Yeah, sure, Cyril can play it. Cyril, the robot. Cyril, the murderous accountant. But Dark just turns those late games around. But it feels like he's kind of lost against Clem, because by the time he's able to get the late game army composition, Clem already finished. He's building 6 Liberators at a time before Dark finishes his Spire. When 12 Liberators show up and you don't have Corruptors, good luck. You probably won't have fun, so we're not going to bother with that. So, it appears that killing the Reaper was not the herald of Clem's demise. A bit of a weird mistake to kick things off, but he spent the rest of the game making up for it. Reaper poking and prodding. Still dangerously low. Queen about to pop out. Some more Zerglings built. He's healing now. Will Dark go? He doesn't go for the early creep tumor. Clem's gonna see the energy was used. He's building 2 command. So greedy. I mean, 3cc turn, but 3cc before Starport, the greediest version, while still getting a factory. It felt like Clem kind of just got his base up and running before Dark even poked his head out of his door. He just kept Dark stuck in his base and really never was able to turn it around. That was just a masterclass. It is not easy to do. Make no, or everybody else would be doing it too. But I think the same kind of goes for Cyril as well. In Cyril's own words, if you've seen the clip of, I don't know, what I do is pretty standard business. It's like, Cyril, you are the CEO of that business. You founded the business. You've trademarked the business. Please describe the business that you call standard. It's like, I just do things that make a lot of sense, like macro better. Zergling gets in, gonna see the entire build here. Did he is he intentionally hiding that Cyclone? I don't think so. I think it was just a misclick. Again, a bit of a weird start for Clem. And now that's a big pickup for Dark here. Not the SCV, but the fact he gets in and he sees there's 2 barracks behind. So he already knows no starport. It's 3cc and just Cyclones. There is a Baneling nest on the way. 5 Overlords in production because I think he got supply block from the Cyclone Snipey and Ovi. And he's making Zerglings. I think Dark's gonna bust him. He knows that there's not going to be a Banshee. He knows there's not going to be a meaningful amount of Marines, but he is going for them. So, vulnerable to Banelings with no way to get out of the way. I think this is a better choice than the Roaches last game. Well, the Roaches are just kind of a catch-all option. And this time, well, Clem is much more vulnerable. That Zergling, that one Zergling, if this, even if it doesn't work, it's going to do some damage, I think. It is Clem, but he has no idea. There is no indicator. He hasn't seen any units coming out. He's going down to the low ground, lifting his command center. He has absolutely no idea this is coming. He's in the dark, if you would. And now reacts, but the panic. Everything's coming back. But the Marines, oh, they're splitting, which makes them more vulnerable to the Zerglings. And here comes the Hellions and Cyclones, but he's just gonna bust right through the door, including the reactor. Zerglings, he blocks off with the Banelings. And now you have to go through that. 36 SCVs left. Medevacs pop out. Okay, this is not quite the game-ending effort, as Clem still has 3 CCs. This is actually not killing nearly enough SCVs. The Banelings rolling into the main. That's a big one. 29 SCVs now. But this is still okay. Those 2 Banelings were actually very important. If he didn't get that, well, 42 to 26. But there are mules. And there's no lair. And Clem has one... You know? Wow. It looked really bad. But if those two banelings hadn't gotten another dozen or so SCVs, I think Clem would be ahead right now. As it stands, he's not ahead. But it's not far behind at all. Yeah, that... And that, I think, is a demonstration of why baneling busts are mostly a thing of the past. Is banelings cost money, and they only attack once. They always get one kill. Think about it. But Dark is up to 60 drones. There's no way the Hellions are getting in. The Cyclones were taken out easily. Is he gonna do a Bane drop, or is he just gonna waddle in here? Clem was landed on the 3rd. He's producing SCVs, but he does have to claw his way back into it. The upgrades with Stim and Combat Shield are definitely going to be a big deal. How fast the reaction here? Well, that was not ideal. More banelings on the way, but here comes Clem. With an army that definitely can get damage done. It comes down to the baneling target fire, but I did say it is Clem. Oh, the medevacs, but the banelings are closing in. He's forced to pick up. Bit of an awkward fight. The Hellbats are tanking at the front. More banelings in the main. So, Dark is able to deflect this. The Zergling counter. This is why he had so little at home. This is the damage he needed to do last game and never found the opportunity for. And now Clem finishes 1-1. And now Clem has an opportunity to get more damage. But his economy has again been cut down. And Dark has a lair. He's got Bane speed. He's got 1-1. He's even got Groovy spines for those Hydras on the way. And Clem is clearly struggling to keep up on both fronts. A medevacs. Dark took the initiative. He saw an opportunity. That one hero Zergling got in. Lenny. He got in, he saw the barracks, he even killed an SCV. And that timing allowed Dark to put together this deadly attack. And now all he has to do is hold. Dark's up 20 workers. Oh. Yeah, there you go. It's that initiative. Clem knows he has to do as much as possible, so he's taking risks. And even Clem's mortal. Yeah, kills 2 queens. But that, shutting down that attack. Sniping him right on the edge of the creep. It's gonna take thoughts, prayers, and widow minds at this point to even get close to coming back for Clem. He does have 3 CC, but he's up against Hydra Lingbane. The Hydras provide that extra backline support. Very helpful against mines and minimizing the stopping power of the Marines. Ooh, dragging out the Widowmine hit. Does he see the other one? Yeah, he does. The Hydras are able to keep Clem from doing infinite damage with like 4 Marines in the right spot. And there goes a medevac! And there goes Clem. Dark strikes back with a well-timed attack. The Zergling giving all the info. He puts together the Baneling bust. And honestly, the Baneling bust did not go great, but it went well enough. And it kind of shifted the momentum in the Dark's favor, and Clem never got it back. We're all tied up 1-1. Yes, you do what you have to do against Clem, but I don't blame Dark in the least. Not that he would care, but for going for that early attack. We're tied up. Game 3. Dark in the bottom right, Clem in the top left. Interesting that now we have the split yet again. There's always been to an extent, a split between European and Korean players. NA players also exist, and we see them occasionally, but they mostly stick to what they're good at, which is talking. Like and subscribe. But it seems, again, as many of the Korean players, beyond Maru specifically, going so much more for the Reaper timings, whereas Clem, still very focused. He tried the Reapers, but he'll mix in the Cyclones, as well as the 3cc. I guess Beyond has always gone for Reaper Marine timings, and no sort of patch or meta will change that. So really, everyone else is who changes, but yeah, Maru also still going for so many of those early barracks timings. And Clem tries kind of an early barracks, not really, but kind of an early barracks timing there, and well, it didn't work out very well, did it? Zerglings trying to slip back in. Queen pops out. We'll see if there's anything untoward. I do think, well, Dark obviously looking for an opportunity for any sort of early aggression. He's an in-your-face kind of guy. But without that Zergling getting in and confirming the lack of a starport, you can't commit to the Bane. But if a Banshee pops out before the Banelings are in the base, you're so far behind. It's almost a GG moment at that stage. So, but he masked it perfectly, and it still did just okay. Is it time for the Nidus? Dark on match point. Yes, it's a best of 3, but Dark on match point is completely willing to risk it all. He's done it many times before, and it doesn't even pay off much more than half the time. But I'd honestly be surprised if it wasn't something crazy. If he just goes to a straight-up macro game, that would be the most surprising thing to me. But Clem doesn't have a third command center. He's actually going to base Hellion Banshee. At least not yet. Really focused on the unit production. Maybe Dark scared him? Wants to make sure he has that didn't go for a Banshee, and guess what happened? No other tech. Just the Hellion Banshee and then Zerglings for Dark with Queens on the way. A bunch of Zerglings slipped by. Is he really going to find this timing? He has the Overlord on the Pervert Pillar watching for these opportunities. Clem was in the base. Dark is pre-splitting his drones, but Clem is coming back. Oh, and the door's open. Clem, hello? Well, the Zerglings get into the main. Clem, I think he tried to move his Hellions back, and then he A-clicked all his Hellions, and they were still within range of the Queens. So Brenda has her revenge! But quite a misstep out of Clem here. Will he send out those Hellions? There's a bunch more Zerglings on the way. Will the reaction time be there? Oh my god, he was looking at the other side. He was microing the Banshee. And again, the Zerglings get in! And again, Clem will be losing SCVs. Does he let the Lings into the main? He's already taken so much damage on those SCVs. The Mule drops. Quite optimistic. 6 SCVs down. There's more in the main. Oh my. Dark is, well, I said he was an in-your-face kind of guy. He's in his main right now. Wow, this... A surprising, uncharacteristic, and game-changing amount of damage by those early Zerglings. Dark catching Clem just ever so slightly off guard. And that split second is all the difference. And that is what I mean when I say Clem turns theory into practice. Because in theory, you can react in time to every set of Zerglings. You can micro on both fronts. And you can turn that, their early attack into a massive waste. But if you're a second late, that's StarCraft 2. It'll cost you. Now, this time, well, Clem's going mech. Which is, well, he's getting Hell-She's behind this. The Evo chamber wall off, just getting no damage done here. The factory's behind. There's no third command center. It's just now finishing. So Clem gonna struggle to bounce back economically here. The Spire is about to finish. Spire against someone who has no Marines, effectively 0 anti-air. Dark going for the knockout blow. Another surprise strategy here with the Mutas. But is there even an engineering bay? No. Are these GG Mutas? Well, we'll see. There are a handful of Cyclones in production. There are 8 Mutas out. Clem has no knowledge of them whatsoever. He's taken his third. He's got to take risks. But with each new risk, it comes potentially more damage. A scan. The Mutas. Well. Wow. Okay. I want to go back. I've been doing this a little bit lately. I don't know how people feel about it, but I like looking at the player perspectives at moments like when the Zerglings come in to see exactly what was going down. So, let's take a look at the Clem cam. So here are the Zerglings coming in the north side. Clem microing his Hellions, as one does, obviously. And the Zerglings. So, Clem, I think, wanted to click them back in, but he A-clicked instead of right-clicked. And then by the time, and Dark was keeping him so busy with the Zerglings.
Additional supply depots.
Oh, that's so rough. So, the thing for me is Dark was pre-splitting his drones because he had nothing. If Clem goes in at that moment, right here, if these Zerglings aren't coming in at this moment, if those Zerglings are 10 seconds later or 5 seconds, Clem gets in and he kills a bunch of drones and probably has the time to react. If the Zerglings don't come in at this split-second timing, Clem easily holds both fronts. But it's that exact moment that Dark comes in. And that exact moment turns the game. And then there's one more moment, not too long later, where Clem is microing his Banshee. Dark knows that. He's clearly microing the Banshee here. Alright. Oh my. Dark didn't attack the Hellions until he had us around, and then the panic. And the Banshee dies. Oh my god, Dark the killer. Yes, a slow reaction from Clem, but not so slow that it wasn't apparent how good Dark is at finding those opportunities. He wasn't able to do it in game 1, but he was able to turn it around 2 in a row. He gets some revenge. Though I'm sure he's looking to repeat that performance as time goes on. Well, hopefully at I Am Katowice. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed a bit of a breakdown as well. Let me know if you like it, if you survived to this part. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. And checking out the second channel or recommended autoplay. Second channel, we got stream VODs, we got Stormgate, Zero Space, all that. Thank you for watching either way. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. See you next time. Stay chill.